If she's with another man, don't react with weakness. Stand tall, respect yourself, and let silence speak louder than desperation. Focus on your growth, your goals, and your peace. Remember, real strength is never in chasing. It's in walking away with dignity, proving you're irreplaceable by how you live. Detaching from the outcome is one of the most powerful moves you can make when a woman chooses to be with another man. Most people crumble under the weight of rejection or betrayal because they tie their entire self-worth to whether she stays or leaves. They obsess over what she's doing, who she's with, and why she didn't choose them. This obsession becomes a trap, feeding insecurity, anger, and desperation. But when you learn to detach from the outcome, you free yourself from the emotional chains that keep you stuck in a cycle of pain. You stop giving power to her decisions and start reclaiming your own. What does detachment look like in practice? It's choosing not to make her actions the center of your universe. If she wants to be with another man, let her. That choice does not define your value. It only defines her preferences and her path. Your worth is not diminished by her absence, nor is it validated by her presence. Too often, men think they must fight, argue, or prove themselves when a woman's attention shifts elsewhere. But that is exactly the energy that keeps them trapped in weakness. The more you chase, the more you reinforce her belief that she holds the power. Detachment reverses that dynamic. When you no longer react to her choices, you instantly take back control of your life and energy. Detachment doesn't mean apathy or pretending not to care. It's not about numbing yourself or becoming cold. It's about acceptance. It's acknowledging reality without resistance. If she is with another man, then that is the truth of the moment. You can't rewrite it with anger, jealousy, or pleading, but you can choose how you respond to it. And your response is what shapes your future. By detaching, you give yourself permission to step back, observe, and act with wisdom rather than emotion. That composure, that calm strength is what separates those who grow from those who break. Most importantly, detachment redirects your focus inward. Instead of asking, why did she do this? Or how do I get her back? You ask, what does this situation teach me about myself? You begin to invest your time in becoming the best version of you, not in obsessing over her choices. This is where true power lies. A man who is attached to an outcome lives in fear, fear of losing her, fear of being replaced, fear of being alone. But a man who detaches from the outcome lives in freedom. He understands that his life is bigger than one person's decision. He knows that his happiness is not borrowed from her, but built from within. And that kind of man, unshaken and unbothered, becomes magnetic. In the end, detachment is not about losing her, it's about finding yourself. It's about walking away from battles that don't serve you and standing firm in your own value, no matter what. That's when you realize the outcome never mattered. What mattered was how you carried yourself through it. When a woman chooses to be with another man, most men instantly surrender their power. They react with jealousy, anger, or desperation, handing over control of their emotions and self-worth. But the truth is, no one can take your power unless you give it away. Shifting the power back to you means refusing to operate from a place of weakness and reclaiming your position as the one who sets the tone for your own life. The moment you decide that you will not compete, beg, or prove yourself is the moment you rise above the situation. Power is never in chasing someone who has chosen another path. It's in standing still, grounded, and unshaken by her decisions. The mistake many make is believing that power lies in persuasion, in convincing her to stay, or in showing the other man that you're better. But that kind of behavior only broadcasts insecurity. Real power doesn't need to prove itself. It simply exists. Shifting the power back to you requires an internal shift. You stop viewing her actions as a reflection of your value and start seeing them as her choice. something that has nothing to do with your identity. Once you understand this, you free yourself from the emotional grip she holds over you. You're no longer reacting to her. Instead, you're focused on your own direction. This shift is also about recognizing the energy you carry. If you walk around desperate, needy, and broken, you project weakness. But when you carry yourself with calmness, confidence, and dignity, you radiate strength. Women are naturally drawn to strength, not to chaos. And even if she doesn't come back, you've already won by elevating yourself to a higher standard. You refuse to be defined by her absence. And in doing so, you show that you are complete within yourself. That energy is magnetic, not just to her, but to anyone around you. Shifting the power back to you also means redirecting your attention. Instead of obsessing over what she's doing with another man, you pour that energy into building your life. You improve your health, your career, your finances, your mindset. You use the pain as fuel for transformation rather than allowing it to destroy you. This is how you turn loss into leverage. Every step you take towards growth reinforces your strength, and with every achievement, you feel your power returning. Soon, the situation that once had the ability to shatter you becomes the very reason you rise. At the core, shifting the power back to you is about remembering who you are. You are not someone waiting for her approval, nor are you defined by her choice to be with someone else. You are the prize. When you embody that mindset, not in arrogance, but in quiet certainty, you reclaim what was always yours, control over your own life. The man who stands in his power never chases, never competes, and never lowers himself. He simply elevates, and everything else either rises to meet him or fades away. That is true strength. When a woman is with another man, the natural reaction for many is to feel rejected, unworthy, and small. In that emotional storm, self-respect often becomes the first casualty. Men abandon their dignity by pleading, chasing, or competing for her attention, not realizing that every act of desperation strips them of their power. But the foundation of strength lies in self-respect. When you value yourself above the situation, you set the standard for how others will value you. The truth is, if you don't respect yourself, no one else will. Focusing on self-respect means refusing to settle for anything less than what aligns with your worth. If she chooses another man, you don't beg her to reconsider, because you know your value doesn't decrease when someone fails to recognize it. You don't lower your standards just to keep her in your life, because you understand that love without respect is not love at all. Many men lose themselves trying to hold on to someone who doesn't truly choose them, but a man rooted in self-respect knows that walking away with dignity is more powerful than staying in a place where he isn't valued. Self-respect is also about the boundaries you set. It's easy to let emotions blur those boundaries when you're hurt, but strength is in knowing when to say no. You don't tolerate disrespect, mixed signals, or being treated as an option. You make it clear, not with anger, but with calm certainty, that your energy is not available for games or half-hearted attention. This isn't about being cold or bitter. It's about valuing your peace more than temporary validation. A woman might test to see how far she can push you, but when she sees that your self-respect is unshakable, she realizes you are not like the rest. Focusing on self-respect also means turning inward instead of outward. Instead of trying to measure up against the other man or wondering what she sees in him, you focus on becoming the highest version of yourself. You work on your purpose, your health, your mindset, and your future. You remind yourself daily that your life does not revolve around who stays or who leaves. It revolves around the man you are becoming. This mindset not only protects your heart, but elevates your spirit. When you hold yourself to a higher standard, people can feel it, and the respect you give yourself naturally commands respect from others. The most powerful thing about self-respect is that it makes you untouchable. When you stand firm in it, No rejection, no betrayal, no loss can break you. You might feel the pain, but you won't compromise your dignity for temporary comfort. Instead, you rise above it with grace. A man who respects himself deeply is never truly abandoned because his worth isn't dependent on anyone else's choice. That kind of man doesn't chase respect. He embodies it. And in doing so, he becomes unshakable regardless of who stands by his side or walks away. When a woman chooses another man, the worst thing you can do is sit in pain and allow the situation to consume you. Many men fall into a cycle of overthinking, stalking her, or comparing themselves to the man she is now with. That behavior does nothing but weaken you further. The smartest move you can make is to use that energy as fuel to upgrade your life. Pain can either break you or build you. It depends on what you decide to do with it. Instead of wasting time wondering why she left, you take that time and pour it into becoming the best version of yourself. Upgrading your life starts with self-reflection. You ask yourself the tough questions. Where am I in life right now? Am I truly living with purpose, or was I just existing? Was I giving my energy to growth, or was I distracted by her presence? Most men don't realize that sometimes rejection is the push they need to finally wake up and take control of their destiny. The loss stings, but it also shakes you into awareness. It shows you where you've been complacent and forces you to rise above mediocrity. This upgrade isn't about winning her back or making her regret her choice. It's about you. It's about reclaiming your time, your energy, and your vision for your life. You focus on building your health because a strong body gives you strength in every area. You sharpen your mind, reading, learning, and expanding your perspective. You elevate your finances, working harder and smarter to build stability and abundance. You cultivate discipline because discipline is what transforms potential into reality. Every area of your life becomes a project of growth, and with each step forward, you begin to feel a power within you that no one can take away. The beauty of upgrading your life is that it shifts your energy. People can sense when you're bitter, desperate, and broken, and they can also sense when you're confident, focused, and unstoppable. When you invest in yourself, you radiate a new energy that attracts opportunities, respect, and even admiration. Suddenly, the situation that once made you feel like you lost becomes the reason you rise. That woman, that man, that rejection, it no longer matters because you've stepped into a higher version of yourself. And ironically, that's when people start to notice you again, not because you chased them, but because you chose yourself. At its core, upgrading your life is about turning pain into progress. You refuse to let circumstances control you. Instead, you decide to grow so much that the person who was once central to your story becomes just a footnote. You create a life so fulfilling, so purposeful, that no one's presence or absence can define you. This is how real men transform setbacks into stepping stones. You don't just recover, you reinvent yourself. And in doing so, you prove that the best revenge is not anger or bitterness, but undeniable success. When a woman is with another man, the instinct many men feel is to chase, to try harder, to prove their worth. They believe that if they just say the right words, show enough effort, or demonstrate loyalty, she will realize her mistake and come back. But that mindset only reinforces weakness. Chasing signals that you see her as above you, that you're willing to lower your value for a chance at her attention. The truth is, no real power comes from chasing. Power comes from replacing, not just replacing her with another woman, but replacing the entire mindset of neediness with one of abundance. When you chase, you put her on a pedestal, making her the prize and yourself the pursuer. But when you replace, you shift the dynamic. You recognize that you are the prize, And anyone who cannot see that is simply not meant to walk beside you. This doesn't mean jumping into meaningless connections just to fill the void. It means embracing the abundance of life, the opportunities, the relationships, the goals, and the experiences that exist beyond her. Replacement is about recentering your life on things that actually build you rather than drain you. Replacing doesn't come from bitterness, but from strength. It's the quiet confidence that says, if you don't choose me, someone else will. And even if no one does, I am still enough. That mindset frees you from dependency. You stop obsessing over the one person who walked away and start opening yourself to everything else the world has to offer. You might meet new people who appreciate you fully, or you might find deeper joy in your work, your passions, and your growth. Either way, your energy is no longer wasted on chasing someone who chose to be elsewhere. This shift also teaches her something important. Women are not blind to desperation. They sense when you're willing to do anything to keep them. But they also sense when you have options, when your world doesn't crumble without them. When she realizes you won't chase, she is forced to view you differently. Suddenly, she sees you as the man who stands firm in his value, not the man who bends for approval. Whether she comes back or not becomes irrelevant because your dignity remains intact. Replacement is also about perspective. You stop seeing her choice as rejection and start seeing it as redirection. If she walked away, it was because she wasn't meant for the man you are becoming. And if another man replaced you in her life, it doesn't mean you lost. It means you've been freed to find something better. Life always rewards those who let go of what no longer serves them. In the end, you must understand this truth. Chasing keeps you stuck. Replacing sets you free. When you no longer cling to what left you, you create space for what's truly meant for you. And in that freedom, you realize you never needed to run after anything. The right people, the right opportunities, and the right love will always meet you where you stand in strength. When a woman is with another man, your first reaction might be anger, jealousy, or sadness. Those emotions are natural, but how you handle them is what defines your strength. Many men lose themselves in that storm of feelings, letting emotions dictate their actions. They lash out, stalk her, argue with the other man, or spiral into self-doubt. But all of that is wasted energy. True power comes from control of your emotions, your focus, and your presence. When you master your energy, you not only protect yourself, but you also project a strength that no one can shake. Control begins with self-awareness. You must recognize when your emotions are trying to run the show. The moment you hear she's with someone else, your mind might create stories. He must be better than me, or I've been replaced. But those are illusions born from insecurity. If you allow them to consume you, you give your energy away to something outside your control. Instead, you pause, you breathe, you remind yourself that her choices do not define your value. This simple act of calming your mind keeps your energy centered, and in that calmness, you regain power. Energy is contagious. When you are desperate, bitter, or angry, people can feel it. It pushes them away. But when you remain composed, confident, and unbothered, people feel that too. Even she will notice. A man who can stand firm in the face of rejection or betrayal is rare. He doesn't let emotions control him. He controls the emotions. That balance, that stillness makes him magnetic. Women may test you, life may test you, but if you maintain mastery over your energy, nothing outside of you can break you. This control also extends to where you direct your focus. Instead of pouring energy into obsessing over her, the other man, or the situation, you channel it into yourself. You hit the gym, you work on your goals, you build your future. Every ounce of energy you redirect becomes a brick in the foundation of the life you're creating. Soon, the very thing that once felt like a loss turns into the reason you became stronger, sharper, and wiser. Energy, when wasted on bitterness, destroys. But when harnessed for growth, it transforms. It's also important to understand that silence is a form of energy control. Not every situation requires words, and sometimes the most powerful response is no response. When you refuse to argue, beg, or explain, you send a message without saying anything. You are above drama. You're not fighting for attention. You're commanding respect by not engaging in games. That restraint is powerful, and it protects your peace. In the end, controlling your energy is about discipline. It's about refusing to let circumstances turn you into someone you are not. A man who controls his energy is unshakable. He doesn't get pulled into chaos. He creates calm. He doesn't drain himself trying to change others. He invests in himself. And because of that, no matter what happens around him, he always remains in control. When a woman is with another man, the loudest urge inside most men is to speak. They want to argue, explain, plead, or make her see what she is losing. But in doing so, they hand over all their power. Words, when used from a place of desperation, weaken you. They expose your emotions, your fears, and your vulnerability to someone who no longer values them. That is why silence is so powerful. Silence is not weakness. It is strength, discipline, and confidence wrapped into one. It communicates far more than words ever could, and it does so without draining your energy. Mastering silence means resisting the need to prove yourself. You don't try to convince her you are better than the man she chose. You don't waste energy explaining why she made the wrong decision. You let her live with her choices. Your silence shows that you don't need to compete, because you know your value is not up for debate. In fact, silence often unsettles the other person more than anger or arguments. When you refuse to react, it forces them to sit with their actions without the distraction of your emotional response. Silence also protects your dignity. Imagine begging for attention or sending endless messages when she has already turned her back. Every word you say only chips away at your respect. But when you remain silent, you guard your pride. You communicate without saying a word that your time and energy are too valuable to be wasted on someone who chose to overlook you. That kind of restraint is rare, and it commands respect, even from those who may not admit it out loud. Another dimension of silence is the psychological impact it creates. When you disappear, when you stop explaining yourself, when you stop chasing, you create a void. That void is powerful because human beings are naturally curious. She begins to wonder, why isn't he reacting? Why isn't he fighting for me? Has he moved on? Does he even care? That silence plants seeds of doubt, not in you, but in her. You are no longer predictable. You are no longer giving her the validation of your pain. And in that mystery, your value rises. Mastering silence doesn't mean you ignore your own emotions. It means you process them privately, not publicly. You allow yourself to feel, but you don't broadcast those feelings to her or anyone else who doesn't deserve access to your heart. You speak only when it adds to your strength, not when it exposes your weakness. This kind of discipline is what separates a man who reacts from a man who responds with intention. In truth, silence is not emptiness. It is presence. It is you standing firm without needing to defend, argue, or prove. It is the ability to hold your head high, even when your heart aches. It's the message that says, I know who I am, and I don't need to say it for you to recognize it. And that, more than anything you could say, speaks volumes. When a woman is with another man, the easiest trap to fall into is believing you've been replaced. That thought eats away at your confidence, making you feel as if you weren't good enough, as if someone else now holds the value you once thought was yours. But the truth is, no one can replace you unless you live as if you are replaceable. Living like you're irreplaceable is about embodying a mindset and a lifestyle where your worth is undeniable, where your presence is felt, and where your absence creates a void that no one else can fill. Being irreplaceable starts with identity. You must know who you are at your core and refuse to compromise that for anyone. Most men, when hurt, shrink themselves. They question their abilities, their looks, their achievements, and they allow insecurity to dominate their behavior. But a man who lives like he is irreplaceable doesn't crumble under rejection. He rises. He stands firm in his value, understanding that whether she stays or goes, his essence cannot be duplicated. This is not arrogance. It is certainty. It is knowing that the combination of your character, your vision, and your energy is unique, and no one else can replicate it. Living like you're irreplaceable also means carrying yourself with presence. It's in the way you walk into a room, the way you hold eye contact, the way you communicate with calm confidence. You don't need to shout to be noticed. You don't need to demand attention. Your energy alone makes people pay attention. When a man lives with purpose, discipline, and direction, he radiates strength. That strength is rare, and anything rare is irreplaceable. This mindset also changes how you handle relationships. Instead of clinging to someone out of fear, you give freely because you know your worth doesn't depend on whether they stay. You don't need to manipulate, beg, or chase. If someone chooses to leave, you don't collapse. You let them go because you understand that you bring something to the table that cannot be found elsewhere. That attitude alone commands respect. Women are drawn to men who know their value, men who are secure enough not to chase love, but to attract it. Another part of living like you're irreplaceable is growth. You constantly invest in yourself, your health, your skills, your mindset, your finances. You don't stagnate or wait for validation. You expand in every area, becoming so complete within yourself that losing one person never feels like losing everything. That commitment to your evolution ensures that no matter who comes or goes, your life continues to rise. Being irreplaceable is about how you live, not what you say. You don't declare your worth. You demonstrate it through your actions, your presence, and your results. You live in such a way that if someone leaves, they feel the loss because no one else can mirror what you bring. That's the essence of power, not needing to compete or prove, but knowing that you stand in a category of one. At the end of the day, if a woman chooses another man, the greatest response is not anger, not desperation, and not chasing. It is standing firmly in your power. You detach from the outcome, you reclaim your dignity, you focus on growth, and you live as if you are irreplaceable. Every action rooted in self-respect builds a life where her choices no longer define you. Instead of breaking you, this moment becomes the reason you rise higher than ever before. Remember, real strength is never in holding on. It's in showing that no matter who stays or leaves, you remain unshaken, unstoppable, and complete within yourself.